Greetings from Tyler, Texas. The intention of this video is to communicate a design for the Spalding Institute renovation, the new Sheen Experience project there. I never got to communicate that design, but I'm going to communicate it now, and you can do with it what you wish. My belief is that there's not a design here and a better design. I believe there's one design. And after months and months on the Peoria site, I certainly had that design. The pre-design phase answered a few more crucial questions, and certainly by the time I was heading south out of town, I had that design, albeit in my head, to take into the architectural schematic phase. But since that didn't happen, let me communicate it to you now. Albeit more diagrammatic, I think it'll be very thorough. So I'm sorry it's a talking head video for the next 25 minutes, but hopefully it's helpful to you. Let's go inside. Well, I am in my Texas office. I'm sitting at my desk, I'm looking at my screen, and I just want to communicate the design to you. And I want to start with the buses. So here's a graphic. It's an aerial view of the Spalding Center, and that yellow area is the Spalding Institute, the museum, and then off to the right is one of the existing entrances into the parking lot, a very important entrance. This is going to be vehicular and certainly bus entry. So a bus pulls into where the one is, and then to the right of the bus driver, when he pulls in, there's going to be two tandem bus spaces to pull in and offload there. The bus wants to pull in here, offload, and then go to a remote site. Now the existing second entry to this site off of Spalding Avenue, it's in the wrong place. It needs to be closer to the first entry, and I'll show you why in a minute. But what I want to do is take vans in this area and then park them to this area shown to the left of the driver, and then allow them to drive through the site now. Here is a design for that area we just spoke of. If you look in the upper right, there's some dimensions shown. An existing 24-foot first entry, the bus entry. Secondly, the new van entry, and then 36 feet between them. It's very important for these buses to just go straight through the site. The arrow showing this, so they want to get in, offload, and get out. The second entry, you can see you kind of come in and veer off in an angle, and the angle is in case a bus goes in there. So it is theoretically possible to have three buses drop off visitors at the same time. Also in this area, next to the Pastoral Center, you can see a new dumpster location. It's articulated there in the blue circle, and a trash truck will come in the van area and park right next to the dumpster shown there, and then offload, and then go out of the site the same way the buses do. Well, moving on, now that we have people on site by car, van, and bus, we have two distinct entrances. One to the rear, mainly vehicular, and a second off the campus mall, which is mainly pedestrian. So these two entrances, each of equal value, meet in the building at a unique spot on the main floor, and that's where the lobby exists here with the L. How do you add on to an old bird like this? The goal is that the architecture not matches, but sort of finishes the building. So you look at it and it all looks like it was done at the same time. I would like to put forth this case study. It's called Betty's Tea Room. It's in Yorkshire, England. And you could see that there was this layer added at the pedestrian level. It says black, glass and steel, language that also has fabric awnings, and then it has light sconces and fences that match this metalwork that I think was appropriate for these two entries. Okay, and before getting into the design of each entry, they have three more things in common. One is that they need a very large image of Bishop Sheen, because this is where branding first occurs for the pedestrian that's arriving on site. Secondly, the stair. They each need a new stair. And that stair, in my opinion, should match the original entry stair. And those stairs should point towards this new lobby that I just mentioned inside the building a minute ago. Lastly, the elevators. To reconcile the pedestrian entry problems and the security issues in the building, the Sheen experience needs 3 elevators. One at each entrance that's simply a 2-stop elevator to get you to the main lobby that we were talking about earlier. And lastly, there's a 3rd elevator inside that allows you to access all the floors. That's how the security should work. Let's take a look now at the vehicular entry ground floor level only. I have this addition at 34 feet with a 9-foot sidewalk in front of it. And that's a yield that gives way to a 10-foot bus lane, an 8-foot concrete walk for offloading the bus, the 19-foot van spaces, and a 24-foot wide drive aisle. So 34 feet, notice that between the buses you get off and go straight into the building, straight through doors, and then there's an entry stair, and it just takes you right into that main lobby. To the right, while you're walking, is that 2-stop elevator. To the left are bathrooms. I think we could fit a men's and women's 5-hole bathroom each. And lastly, the mechanical room. I believe that the mechanical for the building shouldn't live in the attic anymore. All the mechanical equipment for the entire building could and should live on the roof of this rear addition. And inside the building at ground level, down a few steps, should be the in-house mechanical room, electrical and mechanical. If that space is not large enough, we could grow into the lower corner of the Spalding Institute. That area, which is currently a chapel, used to be in the mechanical room. So I think that would be perfect. So let's now move to the pedestrian entrance, the mall ground floor entry level. This addition, I know it was built later, but it just doesn't work. They try to finagle their way through an existing stair, and they should have just rebuilt the stair. And we have to do that to make this work. So the stair needs to go and move down the alley about 20 feet, I think. The elevator, it could be in a better place, but it has a lot of value and we should work with it. So I'm really proposing just scraping this entire addition except for the elevator. And then starting over, just a new diagonal stair that's beautiful like the stairs around the building. And it just takes you straight to the upstairs desk. So you can walk in, like the back entry, you could walk in, go straight to the upper level and into the desk. And then you kind of do a little roundabout to get to the elevator, but you can get to that same upper stair landing and then to the desk. The Spalding doorway needs a new recess and it needs to feel better coming into that lobby. So this thing's a total rebuild, but it's a small little piece and it needs to go in this direction. Okay, the arrival. We've been talking about these entries and a stair that shoots me right to what? This anteroom in the back that controls all the circulation through the museum. It's a bookstore. That's the case study. That you come up, there's a main circulation desk which also takes care of purchases, which also can even serve in evening hours. But this main control desk in the center of the room, or it could be against the wall, this main control desk is just like a Barnes & Noble, and you'd get information about the museum or books or t-shirts, and everybody should leave through this bookstore and leave with something. So that's the idea. I think that is the interior architecture of this room, and it's going to be well received. I want to focus the attention now on the area over the vehicular entry. There should be a little cafe there, a little coffee and, croissant place. Nothing big. And there should be a couple chairs out front, perhaps in the bookstore, but there should also be a stair that you go up, and there's going to be an upper level just above the bathrooms. So there's some 2-story stuff happening in that addition, and this is how it's reconciled. So go over and get a coffee, a Danish, go upstairs and sit and read the book I just bought. I think that this is the best use for this room. Now, the little blue desk, I want to talk about that in the center. That was kind of my first idea where to put it, but really what I prefer is sort of a wall desk, and it's shown in blue here. A long desk that a lot of things can happen for the staff. And now the bookstore is a larger size. It's 34 by 38 right there where it's written. And what's in the bookstore? It's going to have shelves for books, but deuce tables and also probably some couches. Are you going to have a fireplace? Who knows? There's a lot of time to be spent on this space, but it should be wonderful when you walk in, and it should be comfortable to stay in, and it should help with the wayfinding to the museum, and also with a comfortable place to loiter before you leave and then purchase something, part of the business plan. Now, I've long been of the mind that we need to brand Bishop Sheen to the Spalding Institute, and that it should happen in this entry room. So in the bookstore, on the wall behind the desk, I call that the branding wall, you would have an image like this, a circa 1913 photo of the good bishop, and it would say the valedictorian of the class of 1913 welcomes you. So in the plan, I'm showing a magenta line where that branding wall would be. And you can just imagine coming in, walking around the desk, and looking up and seeing it. And certainly while you're in the bookstore, it's sort of one of the major flank presentation walls that will be part of the architectural experience and interior design of the bookstore and entry room. A brief elevator discussion. At the two entries from ground level, there needs to be a two-stop elevator to get you to this main bookstore entry point. And from there, we need an internal elevator to control the private circulation in the building with 4 to 5 stops. If you look at this sketch, along this orange line, that's the split level of the second floor. The elevator has to live on either one side of this line or the other so that it can access every floor. Here in this plan, I'm showing it dead center, right by the circulation desk. That orange box there, that's the elevator. It's got a front door and a back door, so you can access all the levels. And it's a good security spot for it right there. And it's also a good pinch point for controlling going into the theater or not. That's where I believe it should be. The remainder of this video is going to be just about the architecture of the museum area. But before going into it, which is in this blue area in the diagram, before going into it, we need to talk about the Sheen Experience Theater. It's a different room. It's different ticketing, perhaps. So you have to have the option from the desk to go into just the theater or just the museum or both. This diagram here shows the theater in blue, and I'm identifying an exit door and an entry door. So I believe the entry door ought to be to the right of the desk. You buy your ticket, you go into the theater, you have the Sheen Theater Experience, and then you exit into a hallway where directly across through a set of open doors is the rest of the museum. I think this would work well. The pre-design phase established some new decisions along the way, like using the whole museum, 100% of the museum for the museum and not other tenants. Section 18.1 mentions removing floor area. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, there's really too much for the museum, and the answer to the question is architectural delight. Imagine this. You've just bought your ticket and you walk to the left over to a rail, and at the level you're on, you see people circulating through museum, but you look up and there's another level of the museum, and you look down and there's a third level. So this transparency is the architectural delight of the space, and the architectural delight should match that of something you would find in the museum. So it is something wonderful into itself. So vertically, I want to look up and see people upstairs and downstairs in the museum. And then I want to look sideways through glass walls. We'll talk about that in a minute. I want to see at the level I'm on all the way out to the outer walls. And so that transparency is inviting and it's also unique and wonderful. Let me show you some diagrams. This first diagram shows the plan of the Spalding Institute main level. The area in blue is the entry hall. It's 48 feet by 15 feet, really long and thin. What I would like to propose here is to narrow that length by 10 feet on each end of that entry hall. And it would now be 28 by 15, so 10 feet off of each end. And then just got the other walls, and so the museum circulates around that inner room. And we have sort of a room inside of a room starting to formulate. Here's a diagram. All right, almost there. Let's take a pause and look at the circulation through that room. Again, we had two doors. You could direct it where you go in one door and out the other, but I think it could go either way. Let's look at that really quickly. Here it is. Now, one last layer of design to add here. We have the room within a room idea, and now we're going to upgrade it. We are going to add to it by subtracting. What I want to do is around the inner room is remove floor space. And so let's look at a diagram of that now. The blue area obviously is the museum from the last slide. Now, the green area that I have shown is floor space to remove. Removing an overall box of about 42 feet by 42 feet is going to be a striking experience that you come into the entrance door. To your right is museum, but to your left is a glass wall or a rail, depending what side you're on, where you can look into the other layers of the museum. And it's going to be very dramatic and exciting. It's going to draw you into those other areas of the museum, and it's going to accentuate the experience you're having on that museum floor. Now, I want to address at least the basement level and the second floor level for this concept. We'll leave the attic out of it for this discussion. Start on the second floor. Here is a little sketch of our second floor, and you can see the green area where the open floor space is now. So identically to the main level, there'd be museum space around that open space with the little room inside the room here at this level too. This is the second level, and you can see this blue area, that's the raised area. And I haven't resolved the stair area here because I'm just not going to do that. This is conceptual. So the upper level can be museum as well, and then we can have a glass wall into a private area or into another section of the museum that just needs some sound separation. Now let's go downstairs. Here's a diagram of the basement. The green area, that's the open floors above that you can look up and see the other levels. And what's good to know here is that you can walk around the inner room at this level, 360 degrees, and then on the catwalks around the rooms above. So this Holy of Holies in the middle, you could circulate around it on all three levels, visually and literally. Now to the right at this level, that little blue area, there's a lot of real estate there. I just have it listed as theater, but there's a lot of available real estate down here for a museum. Back at the museum chamber, there's a few structural changes to mention. In this first sketch here, there are 4 magenta lines shown, and that's the area of wall that I'm taking out to make the inner room smaller, and those walls are structural. So a beam is needed to pick up some attic load and roof load in these areas. Secondly, there's another set of beams needed. This sketch that you're looking at is the main floor level. It indicates between the open area and the floor area, there's a little magenta line drawn there. There's a 42-foot long beam to pick up the floor loads before we cut away the floor. So this occurs at the main floor level and the second floor level. And the stair indicated with the yellow on the plan, this pesky stair. I couldn't make this existing stair work with this concept. So there were some other problems with this stair anyway. Getting to the second floor upper level didn't flow. There wasn't any way to do it from the stair, and then also getting to the attic. So this stair needs to be reconfigured, and it needs to be rotated 90 degrees so that this scheme can work unimpinged. Let's have a brief discussion about windows. In a museum, artificial light is the coin of the realm. You really don't want to have natural light. It opposes the mood settings you're trying to make. So all incandescent spotlights highlighting your cases. The electronic presentations are going to have their own light sources. So natural light will fight this. So we have to cover up the windows. How do you do that? The windows should be a storefront. You should box out something that would have an image on the back that could be lit from the inside of the outside, and it could be all sheen graphics. From the outside, the building should exude sheen through the windows. So images of his, all the same, I don't know. All different, I don't know. Different colored lights or all the same lights that change through the night, I don't know. But this is an opportunity for the recipe where the outside looks beautiful because of these layers we added. Remember Betty's tea room that we showed, and just how that lower pedestrian level of black made the building feel finished. That's how lighting and storefront treatment of the windows could work on the outside. Have you ever seen one of these things? It's a sculpture within a sculpture within a sculpture. It keeps going. This is imbrication. This is what we were talking about earlier, a room within a room. And it's also a Catholic theology. Think about the cathedra inside the cathedral, the same. Think about the womb of Mary that bore Jesus inside the womb of St. Anne that bore Mary. That's the Immaculate Conception. It's Catholic theology. So I want to just go back to that chamber in the museum that had imbrication and just talk about it one more time before leaving. Okay, back into the chamber of the museum created by the open space, the inner room, the outer ring of museum space. This inner room is visible from anywhere in the museum, from the store, from the rest of the museum you're walking through. You will always see it. So what materials should it be? Currently, 2 of the long walls are structural walls. They're 20-inch deep brick walls. And we're taking brick out of some of that wall, solving it with a beam. What if we made the other 2 smaller walls out of that brick and 20-inch deep too? What if it was a entirely brick chamber that you went in and that brick was exposed? I think that would be very powerful. It has some great lighting opportunities. We see this in adaptive reuse architecture in hospitality spaces. So why not? I think it'd be beautiful. And it would pay homage to those that built it. We'd see the bricks that were laid by good men and good women. Bishop Spalding, the construction crew, the alumni, I think they would all connect with this. I think it could be very powerful. Now, you can see this from anywhere, and it's a very masculine 3-story, permanent, static, solid object. And then this outside edge of the chamber, which is the rails or the glass walls of the museum, could be very gossamer, very thin, very feminine. And that dichotomy could be very powerful. The glass wall could be curved. It could be actually in another direction. We could make a retablo out of it. Here's a retablo, which is the back wall of the sanctuary in a church, which makes it sort of a light fixture and artifact, display, sculptural object that could be added to the architecture of the space. Who knows? Anyway, the sky's the limit, but there's a lot to do with this idea of the Catholic imbrication of this interior chamber. I just want to mention that. Well, I think that's enough. I think that's enough for now. Hopefully, this information, this scheme is helpful. And I pray that it is. And I pray always for our project. Immaculate Heart of Mary, pray for us now and at the hour of death. Amen. Good day, friends. Long live Christ the King.